Jersey. Today we want to let you know that our friends over at Yeti are launching a store at the mall at Short Hills. This marks Yeti's 24th store nationwide and their second one right here in the Garden State. From April 24th through the 27th, that's this weekend, guys, you can swing by for their opening weekend filled with exclusive in-store events. We're talking custom New Jersey swag. They have like these awesome patches and shirts and other items that you're not going to want to miss out on. They're going to have limited edition gear, raffle giveaways, and other new product drops you won't find, listen, Josh, anywhere else.
Anywhere else.
Nowhere else. This is happening at the mall at Short Hills.
I'm pumped.
Also, if you spend $150 or more, you can get a free 20-ounce tumbler. Who doesn't love a Yeti tumbler, or a washable tote? Perfect for that trip to the Jersey Shore this summer. You're laying on the beach, you're hanging out with friends, you got your Yeti 20-ounce tumbler.
Oh, yeah.
That's the move, baby. And it gets even better. They're also teaming up with Hiatus Tequila this Friday. That's today if you're listening to the podcast on Friday from 1 to 5 p.m. for a tasting experience that you're not going to want to miss. You might even win your own cocktail setup if you're into that type of thing. So whether you're into drinkware, hard or soft coolers, outdoor gear, or apparel, this is the place to experience it all. Josh and I are going to stop by Sunday afternoon for this grand opening. We're huge Yeti fans, and I can't lie, I love so many of the brands we get to work with here, which is why we select the brands we choose to work with. But Yeti, this is like a dream collab. So we're so excited to stop by for this launch and be a part of it. If you're looking to get that special person in your life, your old man, Father's Day's coming up, you want to get him a cooler, this is the place to go. They're also going to have some special customization features available if you're into that sort of thing as well. So come by the mall at Short Hills this Sunday or this weekend in general and hang out with Yeti, and maybe you'll see us hanging out there in the store.
Hey, this is Jersey. You're listening to the Garden State.
You're listening to The Garden State, the only New Jersey podcast that gives you all the news you need to hear this week. My name is Josh Sobo.
I'm Josh Chomik.
And I'm Jordan Morris.
Gentlemen, welcome back. It is the end of April. Driving here this morning, everything's looking green. We are officially in springtime in the Garden State.
It's almost summer, and it feels like summer.
Yeah, this morning was beautiful driving here, and the trees have bloomed. We're in that 1 week where over like 5 days, everything gets green out of nowhere.
Pollen everywhere.
All the rain that's been coming down is finally paying off. Mm-hmm. There's, like you said, pollen everywhere. I'm a little stuffy right now.
Everything's coming to life. It's the best time of the year.
And it's happening quick. We're almost in May. Memorial Day weekend is a month away, pretty much.
That's crazy.
So it's crunch time.
I think we're finally out of all the false springs, and we're finally into like real spring, because it's like there was a few warm weeks, then it got cold again. It was miserable. Warm again, cold, warm. Now we're finally, I think it's going to stay warm. Thank God.
I have a hot take on that.
Give it to me.
People share the meme, fakes, all the 10 different springs.
Yes.
And it's like fake spring, summer, fake spring too. Really, it gets warm for a week, then it gets cold for a week, and then it's good. It was like, not a week, maybe like 2 weeks at a time.
Yeah, it was back and forth.
It was like 2 weeks of warm weather, then it got cold again. Like it was starting to break through.
A week ago, North Jersey got 6 inches of snow.
Oh, come on, man.
It's crazy.
That's not real.
That's a fair point.
I got the pics, bro.
That's not real. He's believing these conspiracies, Jordan.
All the fake photos online.
North Jersey doesn't exist,
They're just trying to fool us.
Well, hey, listen, it's so good to be back. And I will say, we're recording right now in the morning. We haven't done this in a bit.
It's been a long time.
And I love it. I love getting up early.
Yeah.
And coming to the studio.
It's the best.
Before the day begins.
Yeah.
Having my first cup of coffee. Mm-hmm. Getting a little buzz.
We're allowed to have coffee. When we film at night, we don't drink coffee because we're going to bed right after. And I'll be too hyped. So this is like a treat.
And I will say, coffee's for sure a drug at this point in my life. I'm definitely addicted, and I get a little bit of a buzz here.
It's a healthy drug. I'm glad you don't do like the bad ones.
Yeah. Well, it'd be bad to do that before a podcast too.
Yeah.
But coffee we're allowed to do. So. But yeah, I'm excited with the warm weather. I'm actually I'm taking off work. So if you're listening on Friday, Thursday was off. Friday I'm taking off, and then I'm going down the shore for this little weekend.
Whoa.
I'm not going to get into the details. I'll get in next week as a recap.
Can you say where you're going?
I'm going down to the good old Exit Zero, Cape May.
I'm pretty sure all the listeners already knew. Like, oh yeah, I'm going down. Like, they know where you're going.
Yeah, but I'm doing. I'm going to be touring some oyster farms.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to be seeing
big oyster guy.
Yeah, I'm going to be seeing where our oysters come from here in the Garden State, which I'm excited about.
Do they give you like like an oyster? Can you eat oysters like after this tour? Like, is it part of a restaurant?
I'm gonna have a Michelin chef cooking me oysters.
Wow.
So it's gonna be.
Do you actually like oysters?
I was about to say, are you an oyster guy?
I'll be honest with you. I was raised so middle class that I think it's one of those things that I would like, but I never. We wouldn't go out to dinner, and my parents would order oysters. You know, now I'm an adult trying to figure out, do I like oysters? And I think I do.
It's rare. It's a rare occasion when we eat oysters, I feel. Like I'll have them like twice a year, if anything. It's kind of like for a special occasion.
I think I like oysters, yeah. It's not something, I think the reason I say the thing about growing up is like we wouldn't eat it. And now as an adult, there's certain things that you don't even think to go, hey, let me go order some oysters. But like I like them when I have them.
Oh, yeah.
So, and if it's New Jersey, we got fresh oysters. I got to know the deal with that.
Slurping up some oysters this weekend.
You're not an oyster guy?
What?
Are you an oyster guy?
Yeah, seafood. Give it to me.
You like seafood?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I actually really love seafood. When I'm in the mood for something seafoody, it's like the best thing ever.
And you're a sushi guy too, right?
I like sushi, yeah.
I don't like sushi, but like I'm a big seafood guy. Like I like the sushi with the shrimp on it. You know what I mean?
You like shrimp tempura?
Yeah. That one's good. I don't like the rice ones and.
That's just like fried shrimp with a little rice.
Yeah.
Shrimp tempura.
But still, it's good. It's considered.
Which is what tempura
it's still
I think
sushi, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess anything is sushi if you wrap it in seaweed and
But
and
that's
rice.
like in the sushi family.
Yeah.
Jordan, you're not allowed to eat that, right?
No, I can have sushi.
Are you allowed?
There's certain ones I can't have though. They put like spicy mayo and stuff on it.
Oh, the best. The spicy mayo ones are so
Spicy
good.
mayo is so good.
I'm so sorry.
Are those the best ones?
I mean, they're really good, and it's preference for everyone. But I know like you're not allowed to eat that.
No, I mean I've had some good ones
You will pass.
with shrimp. I like the shrimp ones.
Speaking of seafood, I'm going next weekend. I'm going to go fishing off the Jersey Shore.
Whoa.
Striper season.
This man has plans on deck.
So I'm going to be hooking some big, monsters from the Sandy Hook. Would you call that the bay? The Sandy Hook Bay?
Yeah.
Is it? But it connects.
Well, are you in the ocean side or like the bay side?
I'm going to be on the ocean side.
Then you're in
it's
the
the
ocean.
ocean.
Yeah, but when does the bay turn into the ocean?
When you leave the bay.
When you're outside of the land mass on either side.
Yeah, like
I
when
think
the waves start getting a little bigger, when you're like past the hook.
I think
of the sandy.
Well, typically we go around the hook.
Yeah, so then you're on the ocean side.
We go bay side, then we go ocean side, then we go over by Staten Island. We catch some big fish.
Did you bring home fish last time?
We always do. Yeah, it's one fish per man on the boat.
They fillet it for you. You got to
Yeah,
do it.
captain
yeah, it's
fillets
so
them up.
nice when they do it for you.
But the thing is, I'm very idealistic where I think I'm going to want to eat the fish, and I never get around to making it. And also, there's
really
this thing,
why? Why don't you just make it that same night?
I should. That's what I always say I'm going to do, but I'm always exhausted by the time I get back.
I mean, like you can keep it in the fridge for.
No, you're right. But I think the thing is, okay, this is going to sound messed up. Maybe people can relate with this. When I go to the store and buy a fish versus when I buy a fish, when I catch a fish, there's a part of me that almost feels more comfortable with the fish from the store.
No, dude.
I know that's messed up.
It's fresh fish.
I know, but there's a part of me that's like, well, listen, this Costco can't sell a fish that's going to get me sick. And they probably still do. But like in my head, I'm like, but I have this weird thing with food poisoning. I've realized, I think I have a legit phobia.
Have you ever gotten food poisoning from fish?
No, my wife did last year, but I'm not trying to sound like a crazy person, but I think I have a legit food poisoning phobia. Like I think about it with like most meals.
Food poisoning is the worst thing to ever happen to anyone.
I know, but do you think about it ever, food poisoning or no?
No, I really don't.
I think about it so much that
I think
I'm
I got food poisoning once, like really badly, but it was in Mexico. Other than that, like I've been fine. But yeah, it can happen randomly to anyone at any time.
If you're making a steak at home, do you ever think like obviously you want it to be cooked all the way, like everybody would, but there's no thought in your mind of
I do like the blood.
So there's no thought in your mind of like I don't want to like.
Not really.
Steak doesn't really concern me.
You kind of know, just like
I feel like I can eat steak raw.
I'm not gonna keep it crazy raw, but you're gonna cook it.
I have this weird thing. I don't know where it came from. I think it came from when we cooked salmon and Shelb got real sick. It was a whole story.
Oh yeah, because like the same thing. Remember Wildwood, like over 15 years ago, when I had the
fried Oreos.
Fried Oreos. Now I haven't eaten a fried Oreo since that day because I got food poisoning from it, and now I'm scarred.
Have we ever told that story?
I think so. We talked about it a few times.
We went to the Cozy Crest in Wildwood.
I went crazy with fried Oreos, and
Does
I
it
just
still exist?
I got food poisoning. Yeah, it does, of course.
How do you get food poisoning from fried Oreos?
I don't know, dude. I was just puking all night. It was just ruined my whole weekend in Wild with all my friends.
Listen, man, the Cozy Crest
Wait,
in
temporarily
Wildwood.
closed. What?
Permanently closed.
No, not the Cozy.
You gotta buy it.
This place was the best.
man.
Hi.
This is good times. I don't know. We definitely
That
told the
is
story
so
before, but for those that
sad.
haven't heard, one time when we were like 18, were you here for this, Jordan?
No.
When we were like 18, we had a big group of friends that wanted to go down the shore for the weekend. So we're like, let's have Chomik book us a hotel. And
Leave it up to Chomik to book the best hotel
Josh
in
is
Wildwood.
Josh is gonna book a hotel, and we'll just like get our stuff, make plans, go down. So there was probably 12 of us. What do you think? 12?
It was a good group, yeah.
Big group. So we're all driving down. I remember being on Parkway South. So I'm probably 18. Had to be 13 years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember being hyped for the weekend. It was great vibes. Friday night, going to Wildwood. We show up. Josh booked a place called the Cozy Crest, a 1-star review motel.
It's got a bed. Because it had bedrooms that were bigger for like all of us. You know?
Dude, when we walked in, it was like in Dumb and Dumber when they go to the old motel.
Yeah.
It was the pillowcases on all the beds didn't match the sheets. Like it was all different blankets.
It was
If
comfortable.
you hit the bed, dust flew in the air. Wood panel walls, mold on everything. It was disgusting. It was like, and I could be a snob. I'll admit it. I could be a snob. This was when we take road trips as in college. We would sleep at some sketchy spots.
Oh, yeah.
Never bothered me. This was horrendous.
And also the best part is I've been back to the Cozy Crest multiple times after that.
Why would you go back?
Because
Such
it's
a great
you
experience.
save money and you have a bed. And then
but-
you just go to the El Coronado hot tub, you sneak in over there into a nicer hotel.
Wait, how much money are you saving?
A
How
lot.
much was
That's
it?
what I mean, like,
We're-
just 40
we're
bucks?
younger. Yes.
You're gonna say $40 to sleep in a
Yes.
roach-infested
And
bed.
You know what the funniest thing about that trip was?
Yeah.
I booked everything and all that. I never ended up with a room.
Or didn't someone sleep on the roof of the hotel?
People slept on the roof.
There was like
people
there were
people
like
were
lawn chairs on the
refusing
roof
to sleep on the
Yeah,
beds. I was like, all right, go
Steve-
sleep on the roof.
So there was like a rooftop pool with like lounge chairs, and our friend
Keith
Steve.
took my room.
Yeah, I remember that. and Steve didn't want to sleep in a room, so he took towels from the pool and laid on a lawn
Yeah,
chair and
that's
slept
a
on the
little
roof.
too much.
Which I think was
Come on, big baby.
no, I think it
Wait,
was
like
fair.
he thought it was so gross. He didn't
Yes.
want to.
I slept in one of the beds, which was probably a bad idea.
I want to share one fish story really quickly before we move on.
Before you say that, the last thing I wanted to say here was the next time you went back,
Yeah.
you went to a closed wing of the motel because they closed off part of it.
Yeah, after Sandy, they closed part of the hotel. It got wrecked, and yeah, we stayed here with my friends. And I think my boys they checked out the area that was closed. I guess guys, we just want to see let's see the construction, whatever. And then I think my boys walked in. I wasn't there. They walked into an area and they ran into a naked homeless guy sleeping on one of the beds. And I guess that's his spot. So that was awesome.
That was probably the same bed that you guys were sleeping
man.
in.
Probably, but look,
If you're a Wildwood fan,
I'm glad this homeless man found us, a bed that night.
at the Crest.
Too bad he didn't have any clothes.
Okay,
Okay.
was he naked by choice?
It was
or-
summertime. It was hot.
Now
okay.
we've talked about this before, so I don't want to. We can move on to what you were going to say, Josh. But if the listeners, want to do something fun today, go online, look up the Cozy Crest, and read the reviews. It could be like a Reddit thread.
I think I've stayed there 3 times. Great spot.
The reviews are so bad.
It's just sad how they're closed now. I guess it just really got they got shut down.
Dude,
The owner was really nice. He was a really nice older gentleman.
Someone
Took care
said-
of us.
Someone said this has to be the dirtiest and rundown motel in all of Wildwood Crest. We went in July. I will never stay there again. Everything is run down. It has
You can't
not
trust
been-
reviews though. Everyone gets so dramatic with Steve probably wrote one of these reviews.
Yeah.
Whatever, man.
Someone said
Pay the price. Pay more money if you don't want to stay at a crappy motel. It's of course these are terrible reviews. That's what you're paying for. You expect a bad motel. If you want a nice experience, pay an extra $100 and get a nice hotel. I don't know what the
Dude,
big deal is.
Someone said disgusting, embarrassing, and full of trash.
What-
Let me just read this and then,
what do you
then we're done.
expect?
Disgusting waste of money. Literally, we checked out a day early because we felt so dirty and didn't feel safe having our kids there. Let's run down the list. Vents so caked in dust that you couldn't see the vent grate. Tub water started out brown.
That's normal.
pull-out sofa bed had one whole corner of springs broken, so I woke up every hour to slide my back. Moldy ceiling tiles, weird film on only window. I don't know what that means. Trash left in drawers, trash not emptied by room service or whatever they call it. This goes on for like 3 paragraphs.
Okay, I just want to defend myself really quickly
Yeah.
at the review like that. Number one, if you have a family, why are you booking it? Like, pay the extra $100, go somewhere nicer. Like, we went there because we're all young.
Because we have health
families.
codes, Josh.
Like, who cares?
We have health codes. We have like, if you want to operate a business.
I didn't see one problem when I
We're a
went there.
civil society. We say if you want to be a hotel or motel operator, you got to have a certain level of cleanliness so visitors don't come.
It wasn't even that dirty when we were there, though. It's just our friends are snobs.
You don't book a hotel and show up at 1 a.m. with your family. You're on a long road trip and you get in and you're screwed.
And there's a naked homeless guy in your bed.
Pay an extra
Yeah, I mean, like-
$50 to a nicer hotel, though.
All right.
You know this is a bad spot.
I don't know, man. I'm going to disagree there, but I respect. I
will defend the crest. I will defend cozy
This
till
is
the
why
day
you
I
need
die.
a wife. This is why you need a wife.
I'm
It'll
just-
change you.
Josh, I just said.
You're gonna be
I just said we went there when we were. I wouldn't go there if I had a family. You go there when you're young, when you're with your friends, when you don't have kids. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
I don't disagree.
Like, you wouldn't go there with your family now, but you would have went there 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Now you go to the El Coronado.
The El Coronado. Well, I'm going somewhere else this weekend. I don't know how we got here, but Jordan, you were going to say something, or someone was going to
Oh
say.
yeah, just back to your fish story really quickly. The best fresh fish experience I had was when I was in the Florida Keys and we were fishing for like mahi-mahi, and we were catching tuna. Our captain, we caught like a few like tunas, maybe not like crazy big tunas, but maybe like a foot, 2 feet, and he would chop them up on the boat.
Nice.
Fillet it on the boat while we're fishing.
Little soy sauce.
He got the soy sauce and he got the what's the green stuff? Wasabi. Put it on a plate. Cut the fish right in front of us, and then we're eating the tuna while we're fishing for more tuna.
That's awesome.
It was awesome, man.
That is pretty sweet.
I would eat that. I will say.
And I didn't think twice. I was like, this is the freshest fish I could possibly eat right now because I just caught it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Too bad I got sick on that trip too from it was 8-foot waves. I got motion sickness.
No, I'm kidding.
And I still ate the fish. It was delicious, but yeah, just some bad times in
I feel like I
Florida.
would trust the fish down there more than up here, right?
In Florida.
Yeah.
Just healthier.
It just seems cleaner than fishing at
It's also
Sandy Hook.
tuna and mahi-mahi, man. Oh,
Yeah.
so good compared to Striper's amazing, but
It's kind of crazy. The whole ocean is connected.
yeah, dude.
You get some tropical spots. Obviously, the tides move the water around, so it is different water depending where you go. Obviously,
Yeah, and especially
But-
if you're right on shore, or if you go 50 miles out and you're catching
different water.
crazy tuna off the Atlantic. It's there's so much out there. That's a trip I got to do.
So that's my plans for this weekend, boys. I'm gonna get down the shore.
Got to
in my
send us some
springtime.
pics of oysters, man.
Yeah.
Oyster Fest. That means there's a lot of just different vendors and stuff, or is it you're going to a plantation? What is it?
Well,
I guess you could share with us next week, but
Cape May has kind of curated this experience for people to kind of. They're really, I think, pushing to show Cape May as a tourism destination for more than just the beach.
so they're trying to bring in more people.
Yeah, and I think they know who the heavy hitters are in New Jersey, and maybe it's someone like myself. Maybe the blessing of the Garden State on this Cape May experience could be the difference
crazy.
maker. Who knows?
That's crazy.
I'm just kidding. But kind of not kidding. That's kind of
Listen, man,
man.
make all the connections you can this weekend. Let's get some new brand sponsors.
We will.
Down from Cape May.
We
and
will.
Let's take over the state.
We opened today with a Yeti read, which is
kind of crazy.
kind of big time.
Yeah, one of my favorite partnerships here on the Garden State.
That's like top 3 for me. Which I will say, the way that came about, my wife saw they were opening at Short Hills. I reached out. They wanted to work with us.
Amazing.
So shout out to Yeti, great people. And maybe when I take that fishing trip, I'll bring my Yeti cooler with me.
Ooh.
We'll see. But hey, what you guys, real quick weekend recap. We just got through Easter weekend. Did you guys do anything interesting Easter weekend? Anything you want to kind of touch on, New Jersey related?
I mean, I just want to say, other than spending time with friends and family all weekend, it was a beautiful weekend. I have to say something to all my fellow Strava followers.
Yes.
And a run update. I haven't ran since Saturday because I got injured. because you guys were like, Josh, you're gonna get hurt if you keep pushing yourself. And I was like, no, I wouldn't get hurt. And I actually got hurt.
How's it feeling today?
Sucks. Like it hurt. It feels the same. It feels like I'm walking on nails, or like I'm getting stabbed in the left foot.
Your foot.
Yeah, I think it's a nerve thing because I take a step and it's just like insane pain. But like it goes away. It goes away and comes back. And like it goes away for a little bit. I'm like, oh, I'm better. But then like 10 minutes later, I feel the pain again when I take a step with my left foot. And I think, I don't know, I probably did it from running. I don't know.
Bottom or top of your foot?
Top.
You need to go on TikTok and look that up.
I've looked it up all over the internet. Everyone's just like, you gotta massage it, you gotta ice it, you gotta just wait and don't run. And I'm like, it's been almost a week already. I'm going nuts here because I'm like, I finally got into something. I'm really into running. I love seeing my progress 2 days, then 1 day off. And now I can't run because I'm injured. It's like, now I'm sad.
You're going to lose all your progress.
I'm going to lose all my progress.
Your pace is going to go down.
No, you're not. It's fine.
It just sucks.
You started running for 2 weeks. Whatever you were at after that 2 weeks, you'll still be able to do when you get back.
I just hope it doesn't last like a month.
Your body didn't make a monumental growth and change over 2 weeks. You're still going to be good. It is a bummer because you get in, and I was watching you on Strava going crazy, and I can't run right now either because of my knee.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how's your knee feeling?
I ran on.
Yeah, you were gone last week. Tell us, you did the half marathon. I didn't want to talk about it last week without you.
Shoot.
Yeah, you did Josh did a Jersey City half marathon a few weeks ago. He did it.
That's right. So we didn't do.
You got to cover that.
We didn't do a formal weekend recap of my previous week. So. I guess the injury goes back to the marathon, so I'll talk about that for a quick second. So I did run the Jersey City half marathon. Man, it was a cool experience. I recommend if anybody listening has considered doing a run like that, it's a great experience when you go to a big one. It's a lot of people.
It was the first race I ever watched, so that was a cool experience on my end.
Getting to Jersey City was horrible. I mean, I showed up. Man, it was not fun starting the race, and honestly, running the race. But I did. So my goal was I started running 6 weeks prior to the race. I'm not a runner. I have ran before, like last summer.
Last summer you were training, right?
I ran for 2 months straight last summer. But I'm not like a person that ran in high school and those people that they're runners. I just every now and again pick it up for a few months. But I haven't ran since August, so I started running again. So I trained for 6 or 7 weeks. I had the flu somewhere in there, so I took time off. All that to say, I don't think I properly acclimated my muscles. I think my lungs are. I think anybody can run way further than they think with your lungs. So my goal was I was running with a 205 pacer, which is there's pacers. So there's a guy with a sign, and he's like, if you run with me, you'll finish at this time. And I thought, okay, I'll go with him because that's generous for where I'm at. I'm not in great shape right now. And if I feel good around 9 or 10 miles in, I'm just gonna go crazy and try to go sub 2 hours, which is to me, if you're a novice, you're not a real deal runner, you're someone that's getting into the sport, under 2 hours for a half or under 4 hours for a full is pretty good. That's a good time, I think. If you're a real runner, you're that's nothing. But to me, after 6 weeks, I was if I can go under 2 hours,
I think that's great.
So I was running with this guy. I felt great. For the first 10 miles, I felt incredible. Not perfect. It was still hard, but I was I could do this. Yeah, I'm gonna do well. And then something happened in my knee around mile 10, and I limped the last 3 miles. It was so painful. And the annoying part was my lungs felt great. I felt like my cardio was fine. So I finished slower than I think my official time was 2:08 or something like that, because I was hobbling, and it was I went from I was going 9:15 or 9:20 or 9:30 to almost 11 minutes a mile. I was limping.
Yeah.
And I was walking, and then I was limping. It was so upsetting.
And since then, has the knee gotten stronger? Do you know exactly what happened? It's been a few weeks.
I didn't. So what happened was I didn't stretch. I showed up. So this is the issue with why I'll never run Jersey City again, I don't think, is getting there. My dad dropped me off because I couldn't find a train. The path schedule didn't work out. So I was like, Dad, can you just drop me in Jersey City at 5:30 in the morning? He's like, yeah, sure. So he drives me there. Getting there was insane. We had to go through side streets, and we were cutting down weird roads. It was really messy to get there. And then he drops me off. So my goal was to get there an hour early. I got there at 6:30. The race started at 7. Had to pee. There were 150 people waiting. There was probably 1,000 people actually waiting for 100 different porta potties.
That sounds terrible.
So yeah, it was a disaster. And then by the time I got all settled in, drank my pre-run drink, it was 6:58.
Oh, and then you're about to go.
And I was stretching while standing in line for the bathroom, like loosely, but I think that's what I screwed up. I didn't stretch well enough. And I think it's my IT band. I think my knee hurt because of my IT band. And now I feel fine when I walk, but I ran the other day. It hurt. My knee still kind of hurts. So I'm like trying to figure out. Yeah. But it was good. Thank you for asking for the recap.
Look, we're all injured over here. And Jordan, I saw you were on Strava last night. Jordan's starting to run again.
You're running?
Yeah. Just last night.
What'd you do?
4 miles.
Jordan's a fitness freak, though. You're like a natural.
Well, that's why I was like, dude, get back into running. We're all doing it now. Why don't you?
Jordan, didn't you, like a year ago, just one night, you weren't running at all. You just decided I'm going to run a half marathon with no training?
Yeah, the most I had ever run before that was like 4 miles. And then I just like went out one night. I'm like, I'm just going to do this. It was like 11 p.m.
And you did a half marathon?
I finished at like 1 a.m. and I was just like, all right. Yeah.
Was it a good time?
It was like a little over 2 hours. So
That's
like,
hilarious.
It's not
my time.
And like, so that didn't like push you to just want to start running more?
No, I was just like, all right.
You're like, all right, I did it now, whatever.
Yeah. I was like, I accomplished my goal and then.
So, would you like start running again?
Yeah. I'm just like, I feel like it's bad for your knees.
Tell me, should I do I need to be running? Like, am I going to hurt my knees?
I'm sorry, I don't believe it.
No, I get worried about my knees where I'm like,
I think
too much impact on my knees.
I think you should also be lifting. I think
at the same time
to be a really great runner, and I'm not a running coach. I know nothing about running, but I'm convinced I need stronger. My legs need to be a lot stronger. I need to condition them better.
That's fair. Yeah.
Not like squatting 600 pounds, but I should be squatting weight and doing like lunges and all that sort of stuff.
Is that part of your workout when you go to the gym?
When I started running, I haven't been lifting as much. So I'm going to start trying to be more hybrid-y, doing both.
Nice.
And now I'm going to so I just wanted to finish the half marathon. That was my goal. I just finished. But now my goal is going to be, I want to become a good runner. I want to get fast.
Have you ever seen the marathon runners who are like the top? Mm-hmm. Where like they're so skinny.
I was following the Boston Marathon this past week and seeing like the guy who finished in 2:04, I think.
Yeah, I mean they're running
the guy from Kenya, I think he was
like a 4:40, 4:30 pace.
Stupid.
Consistently,
and his legs are like they look like sticks, but they're also like crazy. This is all muscle.
Yeah, I'm like it's crazy how skinny they are. It's like they're just nothing to them.
Do your knees hurt after you run?
Not usually, but I just get worried about my knees for some reason. I probably just think about it too much. It's like you with food poisoning. Yeah. I just think about my knees whenever I run. We're like, I hope I'm not going to regret this in 20 years.
Get new ones.
That's true.
That's what my dad did.
Yeah, you can just replace your knees down the road. Like, what's the big deal over here?
Get rid of my hips, my knees.
You just become a cyborg.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet.
We are all going to be AI cyborgs by the year 2050. So it's fine. But
you will not find me anywhere.
Hey, do we want to do a mailbag? A mailbag, what do you call it? A check-in in the mailbag before we do a little wildfire update?
Yeah, I got a quick question for you. Do you want a real life mailbag too?
Yeah. Oh, what happened? What's going on?
So we have our mailbag, but we also have a P.O. box that people hit us up on from time to time, and I got a little real life mailbag.
ASMR? This is an Amazon package to the Garden State.
I guess they bought something off Amazon for us.
All right, let's open this. Can I open it?
Of course.
I'm going to do it like ASMR. Ready, guys?
Mark all this, Jordan.
I'm going to open it right now.
What a tear. What a tear.
This video's creeped me out. All right, here's what we got. It's a book.
Uh-oh. What's the book?
The book is titled A History of Inventing in New Jersey, from Thomas Edison to the Ice Cream Cone.
Whoa.
Wow, this is cool. I wonder, there is a note in here.
Oh, I was like looking for
on top of it. Oh.
Hey, Garden State. Came across this book at the Tewksbury Inn in Oldwick, New Jersey. I've been.
I was about to say, you didn't even tell us about the Tewksbury Inn?
I wonder if they...
No, because he sent this like weeks ago. So this is before you mentioned it, I think.
I love the Tewksbury.
That's crazy.
Wanted to send this as a thank you for helping me, a Southerner, love New Jersey. Keep up the great work. From Matthew Garces. How do you say that last name?
Garces?
I recognize the name from Flemington. Matt, thank you.
Matt, this is awesome, man.
So this is a book on New Jersey inventors. Wow.
Looks like a nice quality book too. Look at that.
You want to hear about a New Jersey invention? Are you interested?
Yeah, give me one.
Wow, this is cool. It goes by year. There it is. All right. In the 1950s, someone named Camillo Epstein invented something called the Eggo-mat. The egg-o-mat.
Eggo-mat.
Like laundromat.
Yeah.
Where do you go to buy your eggs? The supermarket? The local convenience store? Well, for folks in Somerset County in the 1950s to the 1980s, the Eggo-mat was the place to go. Camillo Epstein had a chicken farm at 41 Mountain Boulevard in Warren Township. He and his wife sold eggs from the stand in front of their house to accommodate customers who needed eggs at night. And on the weekend, the farmer built a wooden shed called the Eggo-mat. Inside were 4 refrigerated carousels, containers that turned like merry-go-rounds. And Mr. Epstein, different Epstein, by the way, filled each one with eggs from his chickens. So there's a power line that kept the refrigerated eggs cool, and the shed light was turned on at night. So it sounds like he had a little laundromat, 24/7 Eggo-mat
That
going.
people could just come pick up eggs at?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That was back when
The
we were a
Eggo-mat.
high-trust society and people wouldn't steal.
Man.
Now
Bring the Eggo-mat back. Wait, is that a photo of it?
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's like a little tiny little shack.
Yeah.
Oh, and the sign is really cool too. What a logo.
I'm going to read this book. I'm going to learn.
It's an awesome book. Yeah. You should take it on your trip this weekend. Chilling on the beach, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Thank you so much, Matt, for that amazing gift. We appreciate you.
All right. Should we do the actual phone mailbag?
Yeah, we have a mailbag. You guys can call in, give us your thoughts, questions, concerns, all the above. The number is super simple. It is
908 67 99 99 3.
Garden State, what's going on, fellas? It's L from Ogdensburg. Listen, I'm calling about that topic about the gas. Listen, let the guys pump the gas for us. Whoever wants to pump their own gas, they can. But I love when the people come and pump the gas for me. Sometimes it's cold. You don't want to get out of there. You give them a tip. Sometimes it's hot. It's a heat wave. You don't want to get out of your air-conditioned car. You're giving somebody a job. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm down for revolutions, but not the pumping gas revolution. All right? Anyway, Garden State, peace.
Thank you for the call.
I think that's what we've been saying though the entire time. Like we want the hybrid system. Let us have an option to pump our own gas, but also have the workers still work there, and then you can get your gas pumped if you want to.
Yeah, I think the hybrid model makes sense, but I don't think it's ever going to change. I think it's not even worth wasting our breath on. I think New Jersey, this is just sort of a hype puff piece to get people talking about something that gets us excited.
I mean, it's been people have been calling into the mailbag the past like 5 weeks about this topic, so it definitely is grinding some gears out there, and I think the hybrid model should be an option.
Well, I will say,
like we were talking about last week.
On my way here, I pump my own gas.
There you go.
At an unnamed large gas company that may be the HR representative.
Yeah, they're going to come get you, brother.
To this podcast.
It was early this morning, so were they like, what were the attendants doing? Were they helping someone else out, or were they just chilling?
It was the Wawa in Union where Chuck E. Cheese used to be.
Okay.
And so it's busy.
I thought you were going to say who it was.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. Mark that.
No, keep it in. That's hilarious.
It was a gas station in Union where Chuck E. Cheese used to be.
Okay,
and if you flip the logo upside down, the brand's name is Mama.
Wow.
I'm not going to say what company it was, though. I don't want to give it away. There were 2 attendants, and there were a lot of cars. It was busy. Right.
Yeah, the 22 it gets really packed.
But they didn't care. I pumped my own gas. I pulled up, and it took me literally probably 80 seconds.
We got an Instagram DM the other day. Some guy took a photo. There was a gas pump closed. When they put the cone?
Yeah.
It was a photo. He was pumping his own gas. He's like the pumps still work when there's a cone in front of it.
Dude.
So that's like, I think that's like pushing the line. Like if there's a pump closed, like you shouldn't.
I'm about to start doing that.
But I was like, let's go. That's hilarious.
Fight the power. See, they do that. Someone, maybe Jimmy said this.
Yeah, it's not like they're closing the pumps.
It's crazy. It's all a myth, man. I'm about to start kicking the cone out of the way. You're running it over with my truck and fill it up. All right. Thanks for that call. Do we want to do another one?
Yeah, I'll do the first one.
All right. Let's check out this call from Jersey Jack.
Hey, Josh and Josh, it's Jersey Jack calling in late night. You guys have been talking about running the past few weeks, inspired me to start running. I'm just asking for advice because I have trouble keeping my pace. I start off running very fast, and then I end up being all pooped out by the end. I did my first run today, and I was out sitting on my front stoop, and I got a text from my neighbor about 30 minutes later. She thought I was having a emotional distress on the front stoop. I just need some help. I saw you on Strava, Josh, running a nice 8:30 pace. How do I get up there in that speed? And what do you do to make your running more efficient? Thank you. Have a good night.
Jersey
Jack.
We're inspiring the world, Josh,
We're
to start
changing
running. Look
New
at this.
Jersey.
This is wild.
See, this is what the next generation needs. They need role models.
Yeah.
And I don't think you and I are the guys, but Jersey Jack, thanks for the call. Here's what I'll say. First off, was he saying he was passing out on his stoop and his neighbor was concerned about him?
No, I give a
Yeah, like he was,
I thought he said his
right there.
neighbor was in distress or something. I don't know. I wasn't really following there, but
it sounded like he said his neighbor thought he was in distress.
oh yeah, because
he went
was all
running
pooped.
and he was sitting on his stoop for 30 minutes in distress.
I think Jack, I'll start by saying I could relate with the pacing. I'm trying to control my pace and not go too fast just so I can get more distance. I'm not pushing 8:30, but I stay around 9 minutes and the guys are yeah, Josh, slow down a bit because you have to slowly get into this. You can't get too excited. But Josh, what kind of advice would you give Jack here?
I'll say it again. We have some, now that we're on Strava, all these people coming out of the woodworks following us. We have freak runners that follow this podcast.
That's what I was saying. Everyone who follows me on Strava, they're running crazy. I'm dude, I'm so entertained scrolling through Strava. I'm wow. I want to do this
We
one
have people
day.
that have been requesting me where I'm you're running 18 miles at a 2-minute pace. And
Not 2-minute pace.
No, I'm joking. It was a 7:30 pace.
what?
Yeah, there's people that are
Fastest
absolute freaks. And I'm not one of those people. So I'm not the person to give running advice. But what I will say that I've learned as a newbie is you just got to slow down.
That's probably how I hurt myself.
Everyone says, "Oh, I'm not a runner." Well, we're all bipeds. What do you call us? Bipedal hominins or whatever. We're standing on 2 feet. You're a runner.
I have no idea what you just said, but yes.
I think that's the term.
By pedestrians?
We are bipedal hominins, a species that walks upright on 2 legs. Every human that has the ability to walk can be a runner. That's all I'll say. We can all run.
I mean,
the issue is people try to be a hero and they start running and they go, "Why can't I run?" Yeah, no, you're right. And I did the same thing. You need to swallow your pride. Slow down. Don't be a hero and move a little slower.
Yeah.
Some great advice for Jack right there.
Yeah.
You don't want to die out there, Jack.
I think that is the most important, is to just slow down, because I feel like anybody who's new to running, you just start out I'm just going to run as fast as I can, and you just slowly taper off.
Well, my thing
Whereas
is,
if
it's
you just start out slower and just find what your comfortable pace is.
I
for
want to go
yourself.
slower, but then my body's no, Josh, you can go faster. You can get this done quicker. And then I'm okay. And I'm running and I'm not killing myself, but I'm yeah, maybe I should slow down a bit. And my injury, just I woke up with it. It's not it happened when I was running either. So that's why I'm mad, because I'm I didn't realize I was hurting myself.
That's what it was like when I got injured too, where I'm I felt completely fine afterwards. And it was I woke up the next day, I'm oh my gosh, what happened to my foot? I could barely walk on.
It stinks.
My ankle.
I'm depressed now because it's if I can't wake up and run in the morning, it's this, and it's the perfect weather to do it too. So if you have any advice for me, if any physical therapists or any doctors listening, if
There's
you want
no doctors in this podcast,
and if you wanna give me some advice on what else to do to fix my foot, I would love to get back on Strava and run. So I'm sorry if I let everyone down. If you saw I haven't posted this week, I'm trying to get back on the horse. I don't want to I can run now. I just don't want to make it worse. So I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing, guys. So I'm trying my best out here.
Love it. Okay. Let's get into the news.
Yes. Lots of news this week.
Josh, you will be better by next week's podcast. Mark my words.
Thanks.
Let's do the news and we will talk Jersey together. And celebrate this wonderful state we're living in.
Oh, it's the best state, right?
It's a great place to be.
So yeah, well, I want to quickly touch on the Jones Road wildfire.
Yeah, do it.
If you're in Ocean County, this past week you had quite the scare with this massive wildfire. Did you guys hear about the fire? Were you guys following it?
Yeah.
You see the clip I posted on Instagram?
No.
I saw it.
Yeah, the fire clip. It was
Is that at
crazy.
1 million now?
It's almost 1 million.
Oh, the
views.
first clip. I thought you posted a new one. Yeah.
No, guys, like that footage is insane. Like from the helicopter seeing the parkway shut down for like miles. Yeah, and thankfully, right now the current size of the fire is 13,250 acres, 50% contained, and only one commercial building was destroyed. So I think like 5,000 people were evacuated in Lacey, or like all throughout like Ocean County, but like a lot in Lacey Township. But everyone got to go back to their homes. There was no homes destroyed, and it was just the one commercial building, Liberty Door and awning, that was destroyed. But like seeing like videos of this fire like coming up to this business was just terrifying. You just see like people like all the firefighters like moving back further, and you just have no idea what's going to happen if it's about to take over a community. But thankfully, our firefighters they were able to prevent this fire coming into these residential areas. So
they fought it.
Yeah.
And won.
But yeah, it's kind of terrifying. Like I was watching, I was seeing so many updates from New Jersey Forest Fire and all these like local municipalities, and like the people, the towns were just like freaking out because it's like, we don't know what we're doing. We're going to a shelter. We don't know if we're going to come back to a home. It's a fire over 13,000 acres. It's just terrifying.
It's crazy how fast it spreads. Because I think
the conditions were perfect. Yeah.
When you posted that video, I think it was around 1,000 acres.
Yeah.
And like
that's right before it crossed over the parkway.
Yeah.
Then once it crossed into the park over the parkway, that's where like all
jumped
right,
up to 13,000.
people got to evacuate.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I just have a few talking points here. A massive wildfire in Ocean County, New Jersey, burned thousands of acres, forced thousands of evacuations, destroyed a business, and closed several roads. Speaking of the business, Liberty Door and Awning, I texted a photo to my dad because he works down in Lavalette. Yeah. He's like, oh, that's the company we get our garage doors from.
Really?
Yeah, so I was like, that's kind of crazy. Wow. The fire began shortly before 12:30 p.m. on Tuesday, April 22nd at the Greenwood Forest Wildlife Management Area in Barnegat Township, Ocean County. The fire spread to Lacey Township, where it destroyed a business, Liberty Door and Awning. It also spread to Ocean Township, sending massive plumes of white smoke into the air. As of Wednesday, April 23rd at 7 p.m., the Jones Road wildfire had burned 13,250 acres. And currently, with the morning update from today, it's 13,250. Is anything? No, yeah, it's the same. The fire closed the stretch of the Garden State Parkway and caused thousands of power outages on Tuesday. On Wednesday, the stretch of the Garden State Parkway was reopened and power restored. Power was restored for JCP&L customers. The fire forced around 5,000 Lacey and Ocean Township residents to evacuate. The evacuation order was lifted on Wednesday, and people were able to return to their homes. Praise God. That's amazing. Multiple resources were deployed to fight the fire, including local, county, and state fire services. No injuries have been reported, which is great. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. During a late Wednesday morning press conference, New Jersey's Commissioner of Environmental Protection, Sean LaTourette, said the fire could end up being the largest in the state in the past 20 years. So yeah, kind of insane. This wildfire really grew into a really, really big fire. And thankfully, no one was hurt and no homes were burned down. And it's kind of just crazy. You think about like how these wildfires actually start. Like, is it somewhere in the woods lighting this fire? Is it arsonists? Or is it just like a kid riding a dirt bike? Or like someone throwing a cigarette out the window. I don't know.
So we've talked about this, the drought thing. Are we still technically in a drought right now?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So is that related then?
I mean, the humidity was down. We were in a drought.
The wind,
so everything is dry.
windy.
It was windy. The sun. It was a sunny day. Like kind of everything came together into turning this thing into a beast. So, but like that's the thing. It's like how does it? How did these fires actually start? Do you think it was man-made on purpose, or do you think it was just like someone riding a quad in the woods and a spark just like caught and a fire started? It's like there's so many things that could start these fires, and it's kind of crazy. I'm just, it really scared a lot of people in the Garden State this week. That's why I wanted to touch on this story, especially people down in Ocean County.
Absolutely.
But I'm glad to see that it is being contained. It's 50% contained right now, so I don't think it's going to grow much larger, and everyone's going to be all right down there. So crazy.
Nice.
All right, Josh, take us through these stories.
All right, well, let's get into the lineup now that we know the fire update. Last summer and the summer before, we began to hear the rumblings of curfew laws for minors in shore towns.
Yeah.
This is a big thing.
Because it gets
Seaside
crazier and crazier every year with these Rugrats.
And we just talked about Wildwood, the Cozy Crest.
The best.
And maybe we were the Rugrats back then that needed a curfew.
Nah, I don't think so.
No, we weren't.
We were good kids.
But Wildwood is now adding more laws to their curfews.
They're making it more strict, which is great, I think.
Wildwood police will now be fining the parents of minors who violate curfew laws up to $1,000.
It's good. Let's start putting some money on this because, beforehand it was just kids getting arrested and parents having to pick them up. Now it's putting more pressure on the parents being like, all right, I don't want to pay $1,000 for my kid's mistake. I'm going to be more strict with my kid.
I've always wondered the legality of fining parents for your kids' mistakes. Like, will this hold up in court? Or is this constitutional?
Yeah, like what if the parents don't pay? Like what happens then? Like do they get arrested?
I personally think you should be responsible for your kids. It makes parents more invested in what their kids are doing. Like if your kid murders someone, it's hard to say you should go to jail for the murder, but there should be some level of responsibility on the parent. It's your kid. Mm-hmm. Like you're supposed to be watching. You're responsible for them.
Yeah, it's a minor.
So here you have these shore towns. Gen Alpha's running wild in the streets. I think it's Gen Alpha or Gen Z. Who would that be?
Well, Gen Alpha's the younger one. It's probably both, though.
Yeah, they're going crazy. And so these shore towns are cracking down on kids being out, going wild. And originally, they just put a curfew on kids. Mm-hmm. Apparently, that's not enough. It's not working.
It's not. So I think they want to put more pressure on the parents now with this $1,000 fine. So like the parents actually step up and they're stricter with their kids, being like, all right, I'm not going to pay $1,000. I'm going to make sure I know where my kid is before 10 p.m.
Yeah. So it says authorities in Wildwood, New Jersey are drawing a line in the sand this summer regarding teens and young adults violating the city's curfew. Wildwood police say they will be much stricter this year to help avoid anything like what happened on Memorial Day weekend last year. It's insane what's been going on. Last year, multiple fights. Donovan Ash of North Wildwood said to NBC 10, the situation has become so out of hand that the city declared a temporary state of emergency. We are not going to tolerate it this year down here. We're going to be, vetting the kids that are up here, said Chief Joseph Murphy of the Wildwood PD. Imagine being Wildwood PD police chief. That sounds like a cool gig.
It's pretty sick.
So Murphy says officers will aggressively enforce the city's 10 p.m. curfew for kids 17 and younger and increase their presence on the boardwalk. I think the parents should be held responsible because some of these kids are vandalizing and attacking people, said Ash. The plan also includes police taking a stricter approach involving parents. If their teens were caught violating the curfew, they would face a fine up to $1,000. Good. Let it happen. What do you think?
Murphy said, we will take into custody the juveniles we find up here after 10 p.m. and then we will charge the parents when they come to pick them up. That will be the end result. Boom.
Hey, I
think it's good. I think beforehand there was no fine. So a parent would just pick up their kid and it would just be on repeat. The kid will go back out the next night. So like I was saying, I think if you put some money on this, the parent is going to be like, dude, I'm not going to pay $1,000 for my kid's mistake. I'm going to be on top of it.
See, in a civil society, this is what would have happened 40 years ago. You go out and vandalize something. Your dad gets called to the police station. You get smacked and you never do it again. Mm-hmm. You learn your lesson.
Yeah, but kids are not like that.
The fear of your parents, the fear of your dad finding out, oh, my dad's going to be so mad. He found out that I vandalized that building.
Yeah, scary.
Nowadays, parents don't parent their kids. They don't care. And the kids aren't afraid of their parents because their parents don't parent them. The parents give them an iPad to sedate them and keep them happy. And now this is the iPad kid generation coming. The chickens are coming home to roost. The kids that were 7, 10 years ago are now 17.
Yep.
Right. The kids in 2015 that were 7 and they were at a restaurant glued to their Minecraft YouTube videos, which I think Minecraft was around 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
I'm so weird how fast time is going.
They're the ones in the theater now throwing popcorn during chicken jockey.
The parents, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. The parents of those kids that they didn't want to parent, they're they didn't discipline their kids. There's no respect for authority in any sort of way. And now you have those kids being savages. And I think parents, maybe this is a hot take. I'm not a lawyer. Maybe there's some people that are going to say it's not constitutional. I think parents should have to pay a fine if your kid goes and vandalizes something or
Especially
gets in a
attacking
fight on the
people,
boardwalk.
yeah.
Like, you know what? We're not going to put up with that.
No.
And
It's unacceptable.
And your kids should start taking, if these kids are repeat offenders, they keep fighting on the boardwalk, we'll give them a record then. Then you're going to be tried as an adult.
100%.
You're 17 and you want to keep fighting on the boardwalk.
There's got to be these consequences for these kids that just think they can get away with murder over here.
Lock them up.
Easily.
I don't understand. Why don't they just write the fine to the kid? Why the parents?
Because they're a minor. I don't think you can.
You can't write.
A 15-year-old might not have $1,000.
Yeah, but their parents would pay it anyways, is what I mean.
I don't think...
I mean, like a 17-year-old, even 16-year-old, like they can drive, so...
I think it's just
they would
because
be
they
able to
want
get a
these
ticket.
parents. They want these parents to realize they have to step up. They want the
But I'm
parents
like,
to feel the pain of their kid.
If you find the kid, like, the parents are probably going to have to pay it anyways, because what kid has $1,000?
But if you find the kid, say the kid actually does have the money, and then the parents have no idea.
What I would do is
he
I'd
loses
say,
$1,000.
I would say for every minute past the curfew, here's what I do. For every minute past the curfew, you're going to have to serve an hour community service if we find you.
That too, yeah. Make them work.
So it's an hour pass, you got 60 hours community service, kid.
Gets worse and worse
You're
every
gonna be-
time. Or after the $1,000 fine, make them do some
That
community
might
service.
be too much, but I just think that there's the reason you have ruthless kids is there's no guardrails and they're not afraid of authority. So this is what you're going to have. You're going to have people that become adults that are ruthless and crazy, and it's going to make us a crazy world to live in. I don't want to live there. Kids have always been crazy. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound like,
there
the
was
guy that's
always
like,
bad
this generation's
kids.
so crazy. I will say though, the iPad generation, people don't realize these kids are wild, man. It's a different thing. Like kids have always fought, kids have always drank, kids have always been wild. But I do think, even in that, there was some level of like,
They had some level of like respect for other people, I feel like. Whereas
I think so, to a
now
degree.
it's like almost, they just don't care about anything.
It's like the video that went viral, the girl getting shot on the campus, right? So you guys saw this?
No.
So there's that shooting in Florida. You didn't hear about this?
No.
Holy cow. I told you about this. There's this girl that got shot. So there's a shooting on a campus. There's a girl laying on the floor, on the ground, bleeding out, like borderline unconscious. The campus is empty. So imagine a scene where you're walking in the middle of a campus. There's a field. You see nobody because there was a shooting. Everybody ran. One girl's laying on the floor. A girl walks past and she's filming her while holding, you see in the frame, you see her hand holding like a chai latte. No, like a green, what's the green?
Matcha.
A matcha. She's drinking a Starbucks matcha, filming this girl dying and just keeps walking. It's
like as she passes the girl, they take a sip of their matcha.
Yeah, she's like drinking her matcha. Like it's totally desensitized to like basic human morality.
Yeah.
It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I mean, I don't know how you could see someone bleeding out from getting shot and not like go try to help them. I know whoever filmed it is going to probably have their life ruined now because the video got leaked. They probably didn't want it to, but they got leaked.
Yeah.
But that's this generation, man. They're
Yeah,
wild.
everybody kind of has, and it's because of the internet. Everybody has like the mindset that everybody else, every stranger is like an NPC where you could just do whatever you want to them. Like,
The person's bleeding out, dying in front of you.
Yeah, it's like,
and you're just filming
that
them.
That doesn't affect me at all.
Exactly. Like,
Like,
how
I
can
can
you
hurt
not have any
people, or I can
sympathy
not-
there? Like,
not
how do you
care.
not want to just drop everything and go help that person?
Yeah.
It's sickening.
Or at least just like sit with them or
It's so
something.
wrong,
Like, until-
dude. It was a terrible. I can't believe, like, when I saw the video, I'm like, what am I watching right now? Like, I'm kind of mad I saw the video.
It just seems heartless.
I hope they find the person. I hope they find the person and they get kicked out of school and their life gets a little ruined for a bit. That's the only way to fix this stuff. Is there needs to be such heavy response that we course correct societal norms. But all right, so here's I think we read most of the article. Yeah, I want to go down here to the bottom. Here's a quote I'll close with. It says, "We hope we don't have to do this. We're not in the business to chase people out of the community." But when you got those people, I don't know what that, but when you got those people that want to be a fool, then we have to act accordingly. That's the quote. We got to work on grammar with the Wildwood PD.
That was Wildwood mayor, actually, who said the
mayor.
quote. One other quote from the mayor I liked was, sometimes the only way you can get to the kids is through the parents. If you hit them where it hurts, especially in the wallet, that may send a stronger message. So yeah, Mayor Ernie over here, he wants to come for the parents because he knows exactly how to fix this issue.
Yeah, if a parent gets fined $1,000, they're gonna care.
Yeah, they're gonna be pretty PO'd. So maybe that'll make them want to keep their kid inside and be a little stricter. And also, let me just say, if you're a minor, you can be out past 10 p.m. You just have to be with your parent or guardian, and then you can do whatever you want to do. So just can't be out by yourself.
All right, let's move on to the next story here. So New Jersey is going to grant emergency real ID appointments starting April 24th for those with urgent travel plans.
People are seriously freaking out way too much over this real ID thing. They're looking at our comments.
I feel like you said NPCs. I feel like I'm watching NPCs respond to this real ID thing. What is wrong with everyone right now?
Dude, do people not have passports that they can't fly with? Everyone's like, I need to get my real ID before the May 7th deadline. Oh, I don't even know what I'm going to do anymore. It's like, guys, relax. It's like, if you don't have real ID, just use your passport. Or now, if you have an emergency travel plan, you can get a real ID appointment. But still, just use a passport.
I've decided I'm never getting a real ID.
You don't have one?
You don't need to.
When I got my passport updated 4 years ago, I checked the box for $10 extra to get a passport card. So I have an ID. I already have one federal ID. How many do they need? These feds want to know everything about my life. They want me to have a million IDs. I don't trust the real ID. By the way, I'm going to get tinfoily. The real ID thing is so bizarre to me. Why do they need a national registry of our IDs? We already have passports. Why do we need a second one? But I have I'm not going to put it on the camera, but I have a passport card.
So you could just use that, right, at the airport?
For domestic flights. I learned on my trip to Canada, not for international.
Oh, yeah, because you need your actual passport.
On the back of the card, it says...
You could cross over, you could drive into Canada, though.
Yes. So I brought both because I was curious. I brought my passport and my passport card. When I got to TSA to go through security, I used the card, and the lady scanned it. Didn't say a word to me. Just let me go through, which is insane to me in hindsight. Mm-hmm. When I got to the gate, I went to change my seat, and the lady's like, "Where's your passport?" I said, "Can I use my passport card? I'm just curious." And she goes, "Do you have your actual passport?"
It's ready to get mad at you.
I was like, "Yeah, I was just curious if I could use the card, though. I'm just trying to understand what the point of it is." And she goes, "That's just for going over water and driving it. I can't use that." And I almost didn't bring my passport because I was
pretty interesting.
So it's kind of good for nothing, but domestic travel, it's great. So it says valid for domestic air travel, international land and sea travel between U.S., Canada, Mexico, and the Caribbean and Bermuda. So not valid for international air travel. I should have read that on the back of it, but I just
always read the fine print.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone's freaking out over this real ID thing now. It's like if you are traveling last second and you can't find an appointment, which you can find an appointment, you just have to look around. Just use your passport. Everything is going to be okay.
You know what I found out
too? Everyone's freaking out.
When I was looking into it after last week, because I was just curious.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was passed 20 years ago, the Real ID Act.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
20 years?
Yeah, it was 2005 that they passed it, and they're just now starting to enforce it. It's taken this long. And I guess the purpose of it, that they claim, is that I think certain states, their requirements to get a license or their actual licenses themselves aren't very secure. So I think it'd be pretty easy to make a fake ID or something, or
interesting,
be able to get a real ID, an actual ID without proper, documentation. So I think it just sets a standard across the entire country of, a certain secure ID. That's what they're saying.
And what's funny? I read
Oh, sorry.
You go.
All government overreach comes down to we're trying to make you more safe. So just give us more power. And that's always the rabbit hole it goes down. I think it's like the Patriot Act. It was all that era of post 9/11 giving the government tons of power and authority, even though now it looks like they probably had a pretty good idea, not to get down a wormhole of other information, but our government has a pretty good idea of a lot of these different terrorist attacks that take place before they happen. We learn this every time there's a shooting. The FBI knew about the person before it happened. So they can't do their jobs right. So now what has to happen is they have to get a new federal registry for you to get an ID. Brilliant. Let's do this and get more of your information. That's where I'll get tinfoily. I don't know. I am so... annoyed by the never-ending creep of federal overreach in our
never
country.
ends.
I'm a warm-blooded American.
It seems like it seems like a lot of New Jerseyans are on your side, Josh, because New Jersey is the state with the lowest amount of people getting real ID.
That's because we're real.
Only
We're like, I don't need another one.
19% of Jersey residents have gotten their real ID so far.
So here's my question, Jordan, for you, because you made a good point. There's states that apparently, and people are like, oh, Mississippi, the southern states are stupid, which is, classic northerner perspective. There's other states that they don't know how to make an ID. Then why does the federal government not just say, hey guys, for your state IDs, here's our new standard. Update your ID so you're like everybody else. Why is it that a state like New Jersey that probably has a great ID needs to be updated to this new centralized, federally controlled system for travel? In a society that's built upon states' rights, not federal rights, we're built upon, as a state, the beauty of America is if I don't like New Jersey, I can move to Florida, right? Like there's different jurisdictions and power and authority and laws state to state. That's the whole point of America is we have states' rights. In a society where that's the case, why does everything fall back into, well, the federal government needs to make a rule that's going to override the states? And in a case where states start to kind of break apart or there's issues between states, you're no longer allowed to fly now. That's going to be the reality is if you don't align with the federal government's guidelines, then you're just not allowed to travel.
Well, the only thing I could think is the fact that, it's like interconnected between all the states because you're flying to other states potentially with a fake ID or something. So it's like now, New Jersey or Mississippi in your example are connected. So it is kind of a federal
because
issue.
It intertwines, you're saying?
Yeah, because you're flying all over the country and all it takes is, if your state is easy to make a fake ID or, you got to...
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've never committed a terrorist act. Have you?
Not yet.
Live on a podcast.
It's crazy.
It's like I was going through TSA and I was thinking like, it's crazy how terrorism was so effective that because a few horrible people did something, my whole life has changed forever. And I'm a law-abiding American. Why am I treated every time I go to the airport as if I'm a criminal? Yeah, I'm yelled at by these TSA.
You're yelled at
no, get your shoes off. Get your black. You're working for me. I'm an American citizen. Don't yell at me. Like TSA is every time I go there, these people are nasty, and it's like I'm treated like I've done something wrong. I'm an American citizen. I have every legal right to travel. You can't tell me anything. And it's like now, and this is the thing is like now you have a new generation of people that the world pre 9/11, watch a movie from 1995. People met at an airplane gate. They would walk over. And it wasn't, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's like, of course 9/11 was horrible. Of course terrorism is wicked and evil and we don't want to see people die. But it's always in response to these things, we begin to have these weird creeps that infringe on, this is where I'm like, I don't know if I'd call myself a libertarian. I don't think I would use that term for myself, but this is where with these sorts of things, I'm like, I just think it's ridiculous. It just gets so crazy where when does it stop? When is the line in the sand where we're like, okay, that's enough? It's
not going to stop. And I think it's only going to get worse.
And maybe people disagree. I'd love to hear people call in the mailbag. Maybe someone has a connection with TSA or, knows about air travel. Obviously, air travel makes everybody uncomfortable. I think it's an unnatural state. You're on a plane. It's weird, and you want things to be safe.
Yeah,
everyone's always on edge. So I get it. Like I don't mind going through TSA, but I will say when I go through and they treat me like I'm like they're lining up the cattle for the slaughter. That's what it feels like. It's like they're just lining you up and yelling at you, and you never know what the rules are. By the way, they should put a sign up because every airport's different. Like you do have to take your shoes off. You don't. To me, it just feels like. Ridiculous. It's absurd.
You got to get that pre-TSA, brother.
I'm like, who is this person to yell at me? You're a federal employee. You're employed by my tax dollars.
They don't care.
And I'm an American citizen.
They don't care.
It's like that Drewski video.
Exactly. The whole entire time I was thinking is I was going to throw a clip of that into this post.
Maybe that part doesn't go in the Instagram clip, but that's that's exclusive content for the podcast listeners. I don't know. I think the real ID thing's interesting.
My biggest issue with it, and I said it last week too, is why can't I just bring my passport to get a real ID? Why do I need multiple forms of identification? Because if a passport is a real ID, then why do isn't that evidence enough that I am who I say I am?
I have the passport card. They should just send me a letter saying, hey, you have a passport card. Can we send you a real ID?
Yeah.
Like, why do I need to do it again?
Yeah. I think if you have something like that, it's proof that you were able to prove who you are.
I mean, I have a federal ID. I have a state
is
ID.
a real ID.
It gets a little ridiculous, but I don't think I'm going to get one. Not for any other reason. I just don't care to get one.
It is cool though with the star. I will say that it looks really cool.
You got your little star.
I got it in 2023. I got my star, bud. It's pretty awesome. And I have to. What we found out last week, Josh, is I got a new one. I got my real ID in 2023, and it expires this year.
Already.
That's the dumbest thing.
I think it's the original expiration of my license when they give you real ID, which I think is stupid. Because now change. In August I have to go get another one, which is crazy.
Interesting.
That's why I don't get why they don't update the expiration. It just carries over from your previous license.
Yeah, that was
I just got a new license with you guys.
Absolutely no sense.
And now it expires in a year.
It kind of ruined my day last week when I found that out.
So the article says travelers with life or death emergencies or those who have urgent travel plans within 14 days can schedule a real ID appointment starting on Thursday, the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission announced.
So that's today.
If you guys are stuck in a bind, you can go get a real ID. The Real ID Emergency Issuance Program comes as the May 7th enforcement deadline for Real ID approaches, and many are still struggling to make an appointment. Those in New Jersey will need a Real ID if they use their license as a form of identification for air travel at airports. A limited number of people who meet all qualifications listed by the Motor Vehicle Commission will be allowed into the program. Those who have an acceptable form of identification to clear Transportation Security Administration checkpoints will not be permitted to make an appointment. So I'm guessing that would be like me with my passport card. So all appointments will be held at the Motor Vehicle Commission Regional Center in Trenton. So if you're planning last minute travel and you're looking to get a real ID, you're gonna have to go to Trenton. The emergency program will not be found on the regular scheduling platform.
So basically, it is required that you confirm that you don't have a passport. The only way you can get into this emergency program is if you don't own a passport. So it's like then you're screwed. Then you can't actually fly domestically.
Yeah.
But so if you have a passport, you're not allowed to be a part of this program.
Yeah.
So
if you have like a family emergency, you could be eligible for this sort of thing. And this is sort of the required documentation for a family emergency. Could be like a death certificate, a statement from a mortuary, a letter from a hospital, right? So the letter must be on hospital letterhead, signed by a doctor and explaining the life-threatening medical condition. If not in English, the letter should be translated by a professional translator. The travelers must also confirm how they are flying to another state within the next 14 days. So you need like an airline ticket, that sort of thing. So you also could have like an invoice for travel dates. So basically the state just wants to know if
this is nuts.
If we're going to make this happen for you, you got to come with some real facts for us that there's a reason you need to go somewhere. And we'll make it happen. That's the gist.
Especially if you have a passport, don't even think about doing this because they're not going to let you get an emergency real ID last second.
And if that doesn't work, go fill up your tank and take a drive.
Yeah, you can always drive across the country, a little road trip.
But there are situations where people have they're family members on life support.
Yeah.
And it's like this is their last 24 hours, and I just want to say bye to my dad. Mm-hmm. That happens to people all the time.
Yeah.
And they want to fly out to California to say bye.
So this is actually huge.
So, if you don't have the real ID and an emergency happens, there's a way now for you to get it. The bigger thing here is if you have a passport, that's going to be your best bet. If you don't have a passports always seem to expire for everybody right before they take a big trip.
It happens every time, yeah. And even though they last 10 years.
10 years. It always seems
flies by.
My passport expired. I didn't realize. So, yeah, that's the case. So let's keep it moving here onto the next story. This is an interesting one. So New Jersey's Attorney General is suing landlords over violating antitrust laws.
The cartel of landlords. Terrible.
Well, the internet's funny with landlords because
no one likes a landlord.
Well, besides Gen Z boys, which they believe you should tip your landlord.
Screw that.
Did you ever see those memes, Jordan?
Yeah.
Where they're like, make sure you give your landlord a nice tip this Christmas.
I just saw one recently.
I mean, some landlords are great, and if you really like your landlord and they're treating you well, give them a present. I don't know.
I don't know. Like I've had good landlords and bad ones, and I think it's a natural piece of the world we live in is there's going to be landlords. So we want good landlords. You want people that are generous, that care. Like my landlord's been very generous to my family in the sense where he hasn't raised my rent. He's taken, he's been thoughtful to us in many ways. In other ways,
he also listens to the pod.
He also listens to the podcast. Is he? Oh,
so didn't he show you a clip of the water tower?
I guess he saw the clip somehow. You have both sides. You have good landlords and bad landlords, and obviously the internet just likes to talk about the bad. But this is an interesting one because New Jersey is suing. Well, there's two parts to this. So first, there's a property management software called RealPage, and they're accusing it and 10 of the state's largest landlords of conspiring to drive up residential rents, violating federal and state antitrust laws and New Jersey consumer fraud laws. So this is really interesting. The complaint filed on Wednesday by State Attorney General Matt Platkin said the defendants, including Avalon Bay Communities, illegally used RealPage's revenue management software and algorithms to inflate rents for apartments in multifamily properties. So New Jersey said the defendants also quietly exchanged non-public data such as lease prices, amenities, concessions offered, property values, and housing inventory in order to align pricing and avoid competition to lower rents. So this is like if you have all these luxury apartment buildings, there's like all these different big names building these buildings. And I'm not going to say names because we can get into that later. But if all these companies, I own 20 apartment buildings, you own 20, and I say, hey, let's get dinner. And we sit down and I say, hey, Josh, what are you guys charging for a one bedroom? And you're like, typically $2,500. And I go, hey, listen, you raise it to $3,000 and I'll raise mine to $3,000. So we both make more money.
Scumbags.
Right. So that's the whole antitrust thing. It's like these 10 different developers are coming together and saying, if we collectively raise our rates, then the competition is artificially going to be inflated here. And what are you charging to have gym membership access in your building? Okay, well, I'm going to raise mine as well. Let's raise it together so that we're competing on an unfair sort of inflated playing field. That's the gist.
Where does like the algorithms come into play when they're talking about the algorithms inflating everything like on RealPage? I was a little confused by that.
Well, let's get to that in a second. Let's keep going through the article and then we'll talk about the algorithm part. So the state said the collusion has inflated rents for hundreds of thousands of residents, with half of low-income renters paying more than 30% of their gross income towards rent. Many real estate and financial experts recommend a 30% limit. So that's neither here nor there. That's just a moot point, I think they say. The lawsuit is about putting a stop to corporate greed at its worst, said Jeremy Hollander, acting director of New Jersey's Division of Consumer Affairs. The housing market in New Jersey is already stacked in favor of landlords, but the defendants wanted more. See, I think landlord is a weird term because the mixture between the guy that owns two houses, he has his house and he has a two-family rental property, that's a landlord. Like I have family members that are landlords. They have an extra property. Or they have a two-family house and they're a landlord to the second. That's a different thing than the company that owns 20,000 units across New Jersey. I think that's why that term landlord bothers me.
That's why I was confused. It's like, are we talking about we're talking about these guys who own these huge developments.
This 10 is, the 10 is about big developer landlords. It's not about your uncle that owns a rental property.
Got it.
That's not the point of this article. Yeah, it's like you're talking about big companies. So RealPage, based in Richardson, Texas, has said its pricing software sometimes recommends lowering rents instead of raising rents and leaves decision-making to landlords. So that's where the song. A spokeswoman, Jennifer Bocock, added the software is designed to comply with housing laws. The claims brought by the New Jersey Attorney General are devoid of merit and will do nothing to make housing more affordable, Bocock said in an email. New Jersey should stop scapegoating pro-competitive technology. So I think the idea there being that maybe the software is aiding these conversations between landlords to get to the bottom. Now, see, here's the thing is when it comes to, and this is important to note, when it comes to any of this sort of stuff, this is highly contentious where you have one side that's always conspiring to say landlords are evil, and you have landlords, which I just said is a gray term. You have decent people like my landlord. He has 2 properties. He's a nice guy. And you have people that are just like cutthroat business guys that are like, I don't care. People could pay whatever, raise the rent. Like, so it's like, it's a vague term where you're like, I don't know. It gets weird. That's where I keep hedging that sort of part of the conversation, because I think you have to be, some of our listeners are probably landlords, you know?
Yeah. I think you're wording it perfectly fine though.
So Avalon Bay, based in Arlington, Virginia, did not immediately respond to requests for comment. The lawsuit seeks an injunction, civil penalties, and recouping of illegal profit, and the appointment of a monitor to prevent more wrongdoing. New Jersey sued 8 months after the U.S. Department of Justice, and 8 other states also sued RealPage over its algorithms. On April 2nd, RealPage sued the city of Berkeley, California, calling an ordinance against using algorithms to set rents an unconstitutional restriction on content-based speech, violating the First Amendment. So here's the algorithm part. It sounds like this platform, what they do is they recommend to landlords, hey, here's how we see the housing market changing. You can lower your rents now. You should lower them to be more competitive. You should raise them now to keep up with market trends, which sounds just like any sort of analyst sort of software. It's helping you. It's informing the landlord to go, here's what the market's doing. In the same way, if you go on Zillow, it'll give you a Zillow estimate for what your property's worth. So I don't know what the real crime is there, because this sounds like the state's implying, well, you told people to raise their rents, and we already have a housing crisis. But it's like, they're just a software. That's what software does. No, I mean, like, where the conspiring comes in is the 10 different, I guess, real estate landlords and what actually went down there with them. Was there an actual antitrust?
Yeah, are they actually doing something sneaky behind the scenes, or is New Jersey just tripping out here?
Look, it sounds in a way like New Jersey's tripping out, but also this is where we have to be so careful with how we speak. And this is why I'm always hedging everything I say, because there's always more to these stories, and we can only know so much based on the articles that are available and the information available. And I'm sure more will obviously come out. But we'll have to see here, because
Matt Placken is suing. So I think this is some real, it's not a random lawsuit over here. It's the state of New Jersey suing RealPage.
Yeah, but the state of New Jersey is also, as we know, out of their minds, and they'll sue over.
You mean they're not looking out for us?
I think. Well, if they were looking out for us, there's a lot of ways they can make housing cheaper in New Jersey.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
There's a lot of. And there's one big one that we're not ever allowed to speak about for how you can make housing cheaper in New Jersey. But there's a lot of other ways, like building endless luxury apartments. But there are ways to get housing cheaper that you're just not allowed to talk about, and that will never be brought up in these conversations. Now, I'm not going to defend the landlords. New Jersey Monitor has a really good piece on this, I think, because they get into more of the details, but they named a bunch of property management companies, and basically the idea is, maybe the antitrust piece here is just the fact that they're using a software that's helping them to kind of map market trends. And based on, if you have 10 different developers all looking at the same software, and the software's telling all of them, hey, raise your rent prices, you can make more money on your property. That's monopolistic in a way, because they're all collectively, it's not like there was a backroom dealing. It was, they were all in the same app being told to raise their prices. Yeah. It seems, I don't know, like, it seems kind of ridiculous to me. I'm not saying, I think landlords should lower their prices, but I think it's a stretch, as opposed to like if Comcast and Verizon, this is the example that's always used. If Comcast and Verizon come together and go, hey, listen, there's 2 of us and everybody's using our internet. Let's make it $1,000 a month to have home internet. Who's going to stop us? We're Verizon and Comcast.
Yeah.
That's monopolistic. That's where it's like, but if you have real estate developers in New Jersey using a software going, hey, housing is getting more expensive, you can raise your rates now and make more money. That's kind of the free market, isn't it? Not that I'm in favor of, listen, I complain all the time about how expensive New Jersey is, but isn't that just the free market at play?
It's so tricky.
It's like,
what do you think, Jordan? I'm curious.
It's kind of not, because if they're all on it and all using it, and if it's taking data from everybody, it's like, oh, these guys raised their prices, so you raise your, like, it's just like pulling data from all the other guys. So it's kind of just like pooling them all together, if that makes sense.
It does, But how is it different from anything else where we have a public sort of system to map prices? You know what I mean? Like if I'm trying to think of a better gas prices, right? Couldn't you say that's gas, like Gas Buddy is an app that tells you all the gas prices in the state. Couldn't you say now we have a fake monopoly where a gas station goes, oh, Exxon went to $3. I'm raising my price to $3. Like, aren't there a million different systems that do exactly what this sounds like is happening with rent prices? Yeah,
but I mean, I don't know if that's recommending that you raise your prices. Like, because it sounds like it's like literally just pulling data. It's like, oh, these people, like everybody else is charging this much. You should raise your prices. And, you know, if it's.
Or is it like what you said in the beginning of the article, Josh? Like, are these landlords coming together?
No.
Under the table talking. No, like, let's raise these prices.
It sounds like it's the software piece that's really the, you know, I mean, here's, I'll read that quote again from the lady. RealPage's revenue management software helps housing providers comply with fair housing laws, rent control laws, and state emergency price gouging laws, and does not use any personal or demographic data to generate rent price recommendations. But they're pulling data together and making. But like if you own okay, here, let me give you a different example. If I own ShopRite 1000% has tools to help recommend prices. It's not like some kid sitting there going, eggs, let me do the math, let me crunch the numbers. Eggs should be $4 this week. They're gonna be $5 next week. Like they have systems on the back end that are running algorithms going, hey, here's the prices, you know, here's what's happening in the market, raise the price of eggs, right? My point is, don't we have systems for everything doing this? And it just seems very specific. And I agree, housing is expensive in New Jersey. I am not in favor of the big landlords. Clearly, I've been very critical over the years of the luxury apartment complex and all this stuff. But it feels like this could be applied to any sort of segment in our society. You could claim if you're using technology to determine any sort of pricing. But it's weird because it's kind of like, well, who's the person behind the software?
That's the question.
Yeah.
That's the big question here that we honestly don't have an answer for.
Because like, what if it's all the developers who came together? It's like, let's create a software that tells us to raise the prices so that we could just.
But what if who's making the software that prices eggs right now? Like, is Tyson behind that? Do you know what I mean? Like, and maybe this is a specific situation where there's conspiracy at play. But couldn't you say? I think what I'm trying to understand is. Couldn't we say this about any software that's been created? And how does the federal government kind of dissect a software platform to go, hey, milk prices are being determined by supermarket coder. There's some app that's like going to go through and it's going to write lines of code to build algorithms and help you understand prices. It's like, so who's behind that app? Is it a college kid that made it? Is it Wakefern that owns Shopper? Like, do you know what I'm saying? It gets very muddy very quickly.
I don't know. Because I feel like with something like ShopRite, I'm assuming they have their own pricing analysts who are, you know, doing those kinds of calculations. And obviously, I'm sure they use some kind of program.
But there has to be, I mean, especially with the advent of AI, I'm sure I was talking to someone the other day that was telling me their brother is an computer engineer for a company that does supermarket inventory, and AI is involved with all of it. And it's like, so you're understanding how much product do we need? I'm sure pricing comes in where you're like, what should things be priced at? Because the kid's going to go through with the sticker gun. And I mean, you worked at ShopRite. Was that fun, or did you hate doing that? Where you put the new price on stuff?
I never did the tags. Those are usually people overnight. They come in and do the tags.
That blows my mind. There's so many of them. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I mean, this is where we're beyond our pay grade, guys, where you need like, I think we're allowed to talk about it, but this is where you could get into really kind of philosophical debates around free markets and like, where does the government need to step in? Yeah. I will say if all these guys are conspiring to raise rents unfairly without due market response, then yeah, that's pretty messed up and we should do something about it.
Well, it's hard to draw the line of what is a legitimate pricing tool versus what's something that's basically like a loophole for getting around antitrust laws.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Because like I said, that kind of, you know, if all the companies are using the same pricing tool and it's recommending them to all do the same thing,
so
isn't that technically?
What about if you're a jeweler? Here's another example. I used to work for my uncle's jewelry shop, and the price of gold is updated pretty frequently. Couldn't you say the jewelers are conspiring to raise the price of gold so your rings get more expensive? Like, this applies to literally everything in our world. There are markets determining the values of goods. It applies to the price of plastic. And if you're a pool manufacturer, like you could say for, I think, any product you think of, there are wholesale goods included in the manufacturing process. I know that's more technical, but there's like gold, I think, is a good one because gold is a ring is just made of gold. So it's like,
but I think it's different because with gold, it's like it's just tracking the current rate versus this, which is like recommending to raise it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Whereas
right?
like that would be like, oh, actually, you should raise the price of gold. Like it would send it out to every single person. Someone hits a button, is like, okay, yeah, raise the price of gold right now.
Also, with housing, you have so many families just struggling to, pay rent monthly, and they can't even find a place to live. So, like, that's, I think, why Platinum for these people.
But that's where but that's like a non sequitur because I don't know that the goal of, and this is where we're getting more philosophical, I don't think the goal of a landlord developer is to be concerned with, they're not concerned with what's affordable. They're concerned with what is the market doing, and I'm going to price according to the market. If they were concerned with what's affordable, they'd make an apartment $500 a month, right? It's like,
well, that's what I'm saying. That's why Platkin's coming after the landlords who are upping these prices.
But what I'm saying is like, is that not a legal right? Are you not allowed to up the prices if you want to up the prices? And if you're using a tool that's saying, here's how the market's adjusted. Like just like Zillow, right? Zillow does. I'm going to give you another one. Zillow for houses, right? It's going to give you a recommended, and that's when you go to a realtor, and they're going to recommend to you, here's what I think you should price your house at, right? I don't know how that's. It just seems like that's kind of what you do. Like I'm struggling to understand the big conspiracy here. If they all came together, yes. If they all came together and talked about it, I agree. But is this not what every platform is doing for us now with our goods? I know we're talking in circles here. Sorry.
Yeah.
But like if I'm going to go sell my house, I'm going to go to Zillow and get a recommended price. Now, are we going to sue Zillow and go, hey, you're telling every homeowner in New Jersey their house is worth a lot of money, which it is, right? Like you can make an argument. It is worth a lot of money. It's New Jersey. You can't find a house. And like I want to buy a house, but like am I going to sue Zillow and go, you guys are artificially increasing? No, the market's kind of deciding because if these apartments are still renting at these crazy rates, it means there's still a demand for them, even if they're more expensive. So it's really hard to make the argument like there's no demand in place. And this is where it's like,
I think the difference though is Zillow. It's like the difference of posting a price, versus raising the price. You're like recommending to raise the price.
But this estimate, that's a Zillow estimate. So it's like you could look at Zillow, it'll give you a recommended, it'll say sell your, and you could literally fill out a form to get a realtor to contact you if you want to sell your house. If I look at my parents' house, it'll say, here's your Zillow estimate that we recommend you sell your house for. Contact us today if you want to sell. Like that's the game they're playing is like, we're going to tell you what we think you could get for it.
Yeah.
Now, how is Zillow finding out that information? Like they're capturing data of homes being sold, and then their algorithm is working to and like who's controlling that algorithm then? Do you know what I mean? Like it gets really weird because it's like, and how do we know Zillow is being honest? I mean, the only way to know is the market responding? Are people still buying these houses at these rates? Are people still renting the apartments at $3,000 a month? Do I think that's too expensive? Sure, but there's somebody out there is renting these luxury apartments.
And people are doing it.
I would love to know
people
who.
are doing it.
It's not me.
Not me.
But it's like
$4,000 a month.
My point is it just gets really muddy to know what's even reality with this and what's fake. We're way over time on this story. We can keep moving. This is a fun
we're just
podcast.
going in circles here. We head to the last story.
All right.
And we can let the listeners kind of conclude that one and figure out for themselves what they want to believe.
A New Jersey school bus driver has been charged with a DWI after crashing a bus with 25 juveniles on board.
And of course, it all happened on Route 80.
Oh.
Things are that the highway's cursed.
Yeah. An Essex County, New Jersey man is accused of driving a school bus while intoxicated with 25 juveniles on board and crashing into a median along Interstate 80. Pierre R. Tranquilis, 47 of East Orange, is charged with second-degree endangering the welfare of a child, third-degree endangering another person, and fourth-degree assault by auto, as well as summonses for possession of an open container of alcohol and a motor vehicle and driving while intoxicated.
Oh, he had the open container in the bus. With the
pretty messed
kids,
up.
man.
The children.
Come on.
So the incident began shortly after 7:30 a.m. Saturday. Tranquilis was in charge of driving children from an unspecified educational institution to a sporting event, courts say. So court records did not state which bus company was employing Tranquilis as a driver. New Jersey State Police troopers with the Hope Barracks found the disabled school bus at 7:30 a.m. Saturday along Interstate 80, mile marker 3 in Knowlton Township. The bus was stopped in the left lane with heavy front end damage, State Police said. A total of 25 juveniles and 2 adults were on board, and 1 person was injured, according to State Police. So Tranquilis showed visible signs of impairment, according to the affidavit of probable cause obtained by LehighValley.com. In an Open Public Records Act request, the court record lays out evidence and witness testimony against the defendant. So he's going to get a maximum sentence of 10 years in state prison. Third-degree crimes carry a maximum sentence of 5 years, and fourth-degree crimes carry a maximum sentence of 18 months. So you stack that all up, he's going to jail.
7:30 in the morning too.
That's alcoholism.
Wait, did he just go out the night before and just never went to sleep and you just let me just work now.
Over.
It's time to get up for work and I'm still drunk.
Yeah, I mean,
You're carrying 25 kids. You got an open container in the bus. Like, how do you not think about how do you not stop and be like, you got to be a crazy guy to be
he's
like,
drunk.
You're drunk. I know, but still, come on, man. How drunk are you to realize?
Yeah, you can't blame him.
I'm going to
He's
drive
drunk.
25 kids right now. I could drive this bus off a cliff and kill 30 people. Like, come on, man.
People don't be thinking, brother. People ain't be thinking.
That's a stupid way to get a 10-year sentence right there. Like, come on, man. Could easily be avoided. I guess, he had to go to work. He had to show up to work.
It's sad we have these stories a lot, I feel like, where people do these crazy DWI.
Yeah, we don't cover
buses.
a lot of these types of stories. I just brought this one up today because it was, 25 juveniles on board. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And what's interesting? It's like second-degree crimes carry a maximum of 10 years. Like, it's kind of light, right?
Yeah.
Or you think all these are going to get added up?
I think they'll figure out a sentence. I'm going to guess he's going to get 4 years in prison.
You think? I don't think he'll learn his lesson in 4 years after doing that.
With kids driving drunk, or maybe he'll get
because if he got into an accident and one of the kids died, that's like a bigger.
I think that becomes
penalty, right?
I don't know if that's manslaughter or if that's like 3rd-degree murder. I don't know what that becomes, but yeah, his life is over, and just like his life is over, the podcast, Josh, is now over. That's our last story we had.
It's over forever?
Yeah, we're done.
No. Jimmy's not even here.
We're going to play Vitamin C's graduation song as we end. No, I don't know. Not much to say there. I feel like these stories, he's going to go to jail. He'll be tried.
Do you think the other adult in the bus knew that the driver was drunk?
Probably not.
I don't think so. Usually smell it off someone too.
Yeah, but bus drivers are a mystery. They're always up there in the front. They got their walkie-talkie.
Never know what's going on.
They're always interesting, and they're always they always got some chatter. They're always talking on the radio to some other guy. Yeah, I'm taking the bus up now, and they're
I haven't been on a school bus in so many years, so I kind of forgot what that was like. But yeah, the bus drivers are always interesting.
Yeah,
that was always something I wanted to do. Be a little bus driver for a year or two.
Josh, you could still do this. You have dreams that I'm like, why have you not done it?
That's like when I retire type deal. If I'm looking for some extra cash, that's when I'll do it.
Get your CDL.
Not now.
Drive the kids. Wear a big trucker hat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wear your belt up above your belly button, like your pants way up high.
I said down the road, it'll probably be something I do for a year or two, maybe when I'm in my 60s, but not now.
All right. I love it.
At that point, we're going to have self-driving buses. We won't even need a school bus driver. Honestly, so much is going to change in the next 20 years. Just watch.
Are you behind it?
What?
Are you you're saying so much is going to change. Are you going to code the change here?
I mean, you can't even prevent it. AI is going to take over, so there's nothing we can do. But you just got to, live in the moment, just go for the ride.
Living in the moment.
Yeah, you can't freak out. You can't overthink these things or else you're going to stress yourself to death. You just got to live day by day, be grateful that you're alive and above ground and that you're healthy.
It's true.
Amen, and what are you going to do? Complain and be miserable? That sucks. Just,
Life is hard,
you're
man.
alive.
And, if you focus on the negative stuff, you will lose your mind. So it takes true courage to look at the news and realize landlords are bilking us out of our money. Buses are full of alcoholic drivers. Your kids are
Not all of them. You know, there's some good bus drivers
Your kids
out
are
there.
freaking out in Wildwood, but in the midst of it all,
People are freaking out at the DMV trying to get real ID.
in the midst of it all, there's things to be happy about. And you know what? One of those things is it is now Friday. It's the weekend. I want to leave listeners on a positive note and say, have a great weekend. Don't spiral out of control.
I would hope you wouldn't spiral out of control.
Imagine someone's freaking out. This bus driver, and they're slamming they're driving all over the highway, freaking out.
And listen, when you're back from Cape May Sunday, we're going to be at Yeti in Summit. So
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
very
be-
excited to check out the store. We're going to film a
Short
video
Hills.
there. Yeah.
And we'll be hanging out at the Yeti store. And
So
it's
yeah,
gonna be great.
if you're in the area, come to Yeti this weekend. Check them out.
Let's do it.
It's gonna be a fun time.
All right. Thank you all for listening. Have a great week. God bless. We'll catch you next Friday.
Peace.
See ya.
You're listening to the Garden State. The Dirty Jers.